This is not a drill. This is not a drill. This is a drill. This is not a drill.
we're here. Oh, wait. Hit it. Cool. Hi guys, this is Julian of Julian Gray Media. I have an axolotl on my shoulder here. Welcome to this month's Fix Your Project stream. We're gonna, I think we have like 5 or 6 projects today. And yeah, we should be ready to get going here. I think we might be running into a bit of a bitrate issue, but let's see if we can correct that really quick. Let me know that you guys can see me, and then we'll get this thing going. There we go. Cool. We're dropping frames. Okay. Hey guys. Yeah. So we have 5 songs today. Some of the submission links were not working. Make sure next time. Oh. Game link. Hey. Make sure next time when you're submitting your project files to share permissions on Google Drive or Dropbox so that I can get the projects to you guys. All right. If you aren't familiar with these streams, essentially we do these every month for patrons of the channel, and if you want to submit for next month, make sure to go check out Julian Gray on Patreon or patreon.com/Julian Gray if you're interested. How is the stream quality, guys? Because I'm running into some bitrate issues. I want to make sure that we're not like lagging. I'm going to switch it down a little bit here, just so we can get a better stream, more consistent stream, I guess you could say. Yeah, so we have we have an axolotl on my shoulder. I don't know how he got there, but he's doing all right. Okay, yeah, so let's go ahead and get this thing started. I'm going to switch over to the other camera. So, yeah. Boop. Okay. All right. Well, anyway, guys, let's get this thing started for today. Go ahead and pause this so we don't run into any problems. And go ahead and pop out my chat here. Yeah. Light stuttering, but otherwise great quality. It is lagging, though. Okay, I will adjust the bitrate again just to make sure that we don't run into any issues. How have you guys been? I hope you guys had a wonderful holiday. All things considered, I think mine was pretty good. I also have a dinosaur in my pocket. Yeah, so we're going to get things started. We have, I think, 5 tracks today to check out, and we're going to get started with this one. So, and like I said, a handful of my submissions today didn't go through correctly. You guys didn't share the link properly on Google Drive. I think 3 of them were not shared properly. Make sure when you send me your projects next time that you're sending me the projects with sharing permissions on Google Drive so that I can actually download things, because otherwise I can't. So yeah, make sure to do that. Finished. I'm going to stop this camera because there's no point in running it. Yeah. Okay, cool. So we're going to start things off with Jeremy Cecil's Watch the Stars. He goes by Arcus. I'm going to get this thing open in live and get this thing going. Live is loading now. How have you guys been over the holiday? Somebody said that they made 15 songs. It's a lot of stuff to work on for the 2 weeks or whatever the holiday was. I hope that you froze some of these plugins because I don't have all of them, but it should be fine. All right, here we are. Let me set Ableton so we get it on the screen correctly here. If it'll work. There we go. Yeah, there we are. So we're ready to stream now. Confirm that our audio is good, and yeah, we should be ready to go. Cool. Here we are. And let me know that you guys can hear this all right as well. It should be fine, but just want to confirm. Jeremy's been a patron for a few months now. Thank you for your continued support.
Wouldn't you like me to tell you a story? I don't think so. Oh, there's the Big Dipper out there. See it? Oh, yeah. I love to watch the stars.
I love that vocal. It's very cute. This is I think the same track from last time, just a new version.
I love to watch the stars.
This is the one I said last time sounds a lot like I Got a Feeling, I think. All right, I will turn up the volume. That's really pretty. Nice.
I love to watch the stars.
Those melodies are beautiful. Reminds me of something I would have written like 4 years ago. There's actually, I actually wrote a full album like in 2014 that I never put out, and it's very akin to this. Maybe one day I'll put it out for you guys. Yeah, really solid musical stuff. The writing is really good. I think the mixing is where we're running into problems here, and some of the transitional stuff is a little bit weaker. I think we can improve upon that. One of the main things I think is the kick is a little quiet. It doesn't feel like the drums are sticking out enough. It might actually be just your lead or your pluck a little bit too loud, and we can address that too. Welcome, Jozik. Jozik, yeah. Yeah, so like that one dun, 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 is a little bit too loud. It feels very forward relative to the drums, and I think that's the main thing that's throwing this mix off. Because if you listen, everything below that kind of sounds balanced. It's just that one main element is a little bit too strong in the front. I think it's this guy. Nope, that's a support. That's your bass. Let's see what else you got. Where is that lead? If you're in the chat, also let me know. I think this is it. Yeah. So in my opinion, this should be grouped with the main elements because that's literally just a layer of this. So let's put that into the subgroup like that. And then let's go ahead and just turn this whole group down a little bit. It's a little too loud, like 2 or 3 decibels. I think will make a huge difference here because now the drums will stick out. Maybe not 3, maybe like 1.5. Where did our main one go? Maybe it might also be your bass sound. It's a little too loud as well. I'm just gonna turn this down a little too. And this guy, I feel as though this should go down with the other stuff as well because this is very similar to this. I always try to vertically group stuff that's similar enough. For example, these 2 elements sound kind of like the same. So one is a layer of the other. So I'm gonna group these and call this like pad. I think that bass is a little too loud. Yeah. So let's go ahead and solo this and one thing that will help here too is this part feels very similar to your quote unquote drop part right here. And I think that's because this bass is consistent throughout. It doesn't really go anywhere. So I think something we can do to make this a little bit more interesting and dynamic is tossing a low pass filter on this pad group we've just created in that breakdown section. So we can create this contrast of, removing that high end until we hit the drop, because that high end is where all the energy is for that bass. Let's go ahead and do that. And now that we've cleared all that space out, I think we can actually turn the main elements up a bit more. Maybe this guy here. Let's see where we're at. Anything else on here? It sounds like oddly like low passed or something. I'm gonna give priority to this raw saw wave instead of the sine wave we had in the sub. Sub was much louder. They're all in the same octave too, so you're really not adding much. You're just kind of adding harmonics to the same wave. It's really not adding any sort of sub. It's just kind of shaping the output of the synth because you have basically 3 oscillators doing the same thing. Essentially just a different voice. So I don't know if this is actually really necessary. Just kind of clouds the sound up. Where you that raw saw wave and this weird saw you've added the whatever that is to sounds pretty clear and strong on its own. So maybe we can turn this one up again now that we have some space I've created with removing the high end from that bass sound. Oh, hello to Nick Bordeaux. That's Tidris, everyone. He's runs the Gradient live streams, and he's also incredible producer, patron of mine as well. Thank you. Yeah, and I think that kick just needs to come in more. Doesn't feel like it punches there. It just kind of falls into place. So I'm going to turn that up. Yeah. Just adding like 2 decibels on the kick just really changes the entire dynamic of the energy of the song. Hi, Uriah. Hello, Tone Deaf. And there's the actual Tidris account. Good to see you. And I think in general, just this percussion's just kind of quiet. Let's just turn this up. It's feeling better balanced now. It still doesn't feel quite right. I think it's because your main lead sound doesn't have any sort of side chain, so it's kind of just plowing straight forward, full volume through the whole thing, and I think that's detracting from the groove of this guy. So let's go ahead and try this. I'm just going to add a subtle side chain. To start things off, I go for a really extreme sound, but then we're going to dial it in as we go here. So I'm going to listen for only the click of the kick. Maybe 5 is a little too much, maybe like 1.5 decibels of gain. And then we're going to trim whenever we hear anything from the kick at all, which is right here, or anything above 2.9, I guess. 2.19. So that's clearly too strong. Too much sidechain. What we can do is dial it in a bit more. So instead of going for such an aggressive sidechain here, let's add a little bit of attack time, give it a little bit less release time so that it's only trimming for about, half the transient. And let's reduce that ratio. Instead of infinity to 1, let's take it to like 3 to 1 or 4 to 1 just to make it a little bit less aggressive. What I'm aiming for is that like bouncy feeling. I don't want it to be cut. Yeah, so there we go. Let's go ahead and play that in the mix now. I think it should flow better with the rest of the drums now. Let's also trim some of the low end out of this pluck. It's way too heavy. See how it's bouncing now with the pluck a lot more? It has that nice 4 to the floor, like old progressive feeling. Nigel Good, Prof, those kind of guys that create that bouncy progressive. I also want to apply this sidechain to our bass as well to confirm that we have some sidechain on there. Right now, the sidechain is definitely not aggressive enough. It doesn't feel like it's bouncing enough. Yeah, it's just kind of lingering through. So I'm just going to scrap the sidechain you have on this. And we're going to move this to the group. So we can, limit the amount of things we have to change. I just basically copied and pasted from this guy. Should work without major changes, but we might have to change a few things. Let's make the release a little bit longer on this one. So for some reason your kick is sending me like several different kicks. Maybe if we do pre-effects. I don't know why it's doing that. Oh, you have that little click at the end because your kick isn't drawn out all the way. So there's this thing called a zero crossing, and it's when you have your transient cut off like this. Because the speaker is kind of caught at a positive voltage, when it tries to get back to 0 without having a gradual fade off, you end up with this click at the end. It's also why you get that click when you're side chaining. you hear that little transient there at the end. You can even visually see it. It's like, and that's creating a sidechain trigger that we don't want. So one way to resolve that is just to do this. Oops, meant to do this. And we'll do this. Actually, we'll keep it locked and just drag it out like that. Who's calling me? Oh, scam callers. You guys have an abundance of scam callers lately? It's been like the story of my life the past like 2 years. One of those like companies must have gotten my email or something, or my phone number, and nothing but scams past like 2 years. All right, let's go ahead and copy this and just replace this. I'm just doing this kind of hastily. If you actually want to implement this, I would suggest doing this a little bit more precisely. I'm just trying to get the point across here. We don't need the end of the transient there. I think that's what's triggering that kick weirdly. It's got that dit dit instead of just like a dit, and we're trying to get rid of that. So copy these like that. And there's that little transient at the end. I'm just going to command grab it off the end like that. So now, in theory, when we play the kick sidechain trigger on the bass, it should be less weird. Yeah, just getting that single click now. Sounds good. Yep. And let's move towards the drop. Where's our drop? Drop's here. Play that in the mix now. So now that we've created that space with the sidechain, it's not competing with the drum as much, and now we can turn up our bass channel a little bit here. I'm just going to do it on the output gain of the compressor just because it's easy. Alternatively, you know, we could turn these up and then mess around with our compressor again, but I don't find it necessary here. I'm going to turn our limiter up here so we're actually using it. And also, this is silly. You should never EQ your master like that. A lot of this information down here at like 50 hertz is so vital. Get rid of it and just keep it going through. One thing I think every producer needs is a good master limiter, and evidently you aren't using one here, but I think if you just toss on something good like Ozone's, or Newfangled has a really good one that's very transparent called Elevate. This will take your tracks to the next level. Using Ableton stock limiter is just really not ideal for mastering. I'm just going to go to the limiter EQ function. I'm going to turn off adaptive gain. And we'll just, you know, hear how this sounds with a real limiter on it. Maybe a little bit more volume on our lead now that we have that limiter. A little too loud too, but yeah, in general I think now the mix is playing a lot nicer now that we've worked out the the bass balance with our kick, and then also the side chain on the top elements. It has that groove and that bounce now that it didn't have before. So that's all I'm going to do on this one. I think that that's a big enough change to this one to justify calling it fixed. I think we fixed it. And keep working on it. It's a really, really solid song, especially if you got like a vocal or something on it. Loving the vocals you have on it currently. It's very, very pretty. Reminds me a lot of Atlas, actually. Okay, so that's Arcus, Watch the Stars. Finished and fixed. All right, next up we have Eldon, Mean Streets. Go ahead and get this thing open. I have to extract that, so I'm actually not going to do that yet. We'll just move on to the next one while that goes, because it might beat it, actually. It's a race to see what's next. Okay, I guess we're going with Eldon, and then we'll do Fresco after that. All right. Let me go ahead and clear that so we don't have the original RAR. And let's get open Mean Streets by Mark Eldon. I've got to leave in the next 30 minutes. Could we review my project next? Oh yeah, okay. We'll actually take a look at Frescoes next, because I was up in the air. But if he has to leave, we'll just take a look at this one first, and then we'll do Mark's after that. No big deal. They're both ready to go. So yeah, Fresco always has some really unique and cool stuff. One of the coolest submissions I've seen have consistently been his stuff. Oh, Ableton crashed. I don't know if any of you guys are running the newest Mac operating system, but I'm considering updating to it because I've heard a lot of good things about, especially the M1 Macs. And if they can run the software and the plugins, I think that an old Intel Mac with the new update will probably be fine. Skip. I don't have your license for whatever that is. Empty trash. Yeah. Here we go. Loading set. Almost there. I don't have a lot of your audio units, but that should be all right. Let's take a listen. Fresco Baldi Deviations. This one's much louder. Oh, you guys can't even hear that. Hold on. Because Ableton crashed, I have to redo the audio routing, but it shouldn't be any issue. If it comes back, hello. I think my audio driver crashed too, because Ableton crashed. Well, that's not ideal. Let's go and restart that. I think what you were hearing was actually my speakers playing it through my mic. There you go. That should do it. So you can hear this now, most likely. Yeah. cool. I always love your vibe. It gives me like this Adult Swim kind of feel. Yeah, super cool. I think that I'm not totally in love with your chord progression here. It's a little bit unsatisfying. We can take a look at it. I don't want to adjust your music though. I kind of believe in letting people create their own melodies. I don't really want to mess around with those, but something about this is not satisfying right to me. It's not resolving right, I guess is a better word. It might be because you're starting on an A, but it's definitely not bad. It's just something about it is not sitting quite right with me. But I am liking the entire vibe of the track. The other thing is just kind of mixing stuff. There's certain priorities that need to be readjusted. I think that the drums are a little too quiet relative to the rest of the song, and that's one of my main caveats with this. There's some other stuff we can do too, but one of the main things is just getting those drums louder. So I'm just gonna go ahead and neutralize both of these to 0. This is +9. This is plus 2. I think +9 might be a little too much. I'm just gonna take it to -3. The kick is really quiet too. I'm gonna go ahead and group this kick so I can work on it individually, and then we can grab a utility and boost it. Let's say 5 decibels. So now the priority has now shifted to the beat, which I think is more like it for this kind of stuff. You generally prioritize the rhythm, and then the rest is kind of ambient and surrounding it. So, and then the other thing is the drums are kind of quiet too, so we'll just turn these up, 5-6 decibels. See, that sounds a lot better to me now because it's readjusted priorities. And I think that these don't have enough sidechain either. So I'm gonna go ahead and group these guys, maybe like your main basses and then like your secondaries, just so I can add a little bit more sidechain. When you get this project back and you can unfreeze it, I would say you can just remove the sidechain on there, and then we can use this one only. I think it just needs to be a little bit longer. Let's go with like a quick attack. We wanted to kick for sidechain. Do you have a separate kick for sidechain? No, only for that one part. So I'm just gonna grab the regular kick. Release time should be longer, I think, for this kind of music. You want it to kind of feel like the instrumental is dipping under the drums. Maybe not that much, but like you got that nice flow and pulse underneath. I think would be really cool for this. I also think you have a little bit too much high end in that bass. If we just kind of roll that off, it might make this bass feel better in the mix because you have all those higher elements filling that. And this is kind of just, it sounds a little cheap to me. So if we just kind of leave that filtered. Prioritize the strings and like the leads for the top end. I love this lead you've created in Massive. I'm going to group that, and I'm going to put a little bit more reverb on it. I think that would work for this style. When I hear this, I kind of think of like, what's the guy who did the Minecraft soundtrack? 813 something. Oh, duh. Valhalla. I don't know if you have it, but I think it would work really well here. Super long delay too, like 5 seconds or something. Maybe even like 9. C418, yeah. A little bit of delay before that too, like. Maybe like 2. Maybe 4. Yeah, it's nice. All right, let's put that with the rest of the mix now. And maybe for this intro, we can do a little bit of filter on the strings so that we can, you know, bring them in slowly instead of just kind of stay in the same spot. Similar to the last track we worked on. Just try to make this a little bit different feeling from the verse parts. See, like, what I'm hearing on this bass is, and you don't have to use this, because, again, I don't like to influence musical direction. I think that's for the musician to decide, because it's the most important thing of a song. But I think I'm hearing, like, let's see. Is this even going to play? Instead of going up, you go down. So you go... So you have a little bit more interesting of emotion here than going up to that B. Again, it's up to you if you actually want to use that, but that's kind of what I'm envisioning in my head. It flows a little bit better because you're insinuating a fall here. You're going doo-doo. And when you go back up to the top, it kind of feels wrong to me. I don't know. And then I don't know if I can do the same on your sub because I don't know what's on your sub, but maybe I'll just, yeah, I should be able to do it. And I'll go ahead and I'll actually duplicate it so that you have the original too if you want to revert and you don't want to use my idea. But just one note change, I think, will make it a big difference. So it doesn't look like this lines up quite right. I think that first note should be the whatever that is. C sharp, yeah. So this note here, maybe we can go up to the C sharp instead of the B you had, because C sharp, what is that, -1 is a little too low. I don't know. The sub's going to be interesting to fit. I'll make this one clip colored so you can kind of hear what I'm saying, but you don't have to go with it if you don't want to. I think it's, what is it, there? Yeah. then I feel it has a little bit more intrigue because of the way the progression is moving. Creates a little bit more tension throughout the center of the progression, and then it resolves nicer at the end. Still not in love with, the latter half of the progression, but I think it works a little bit better now. That's for the bulk part. Let's take a quick look at this midsection here. I think it doesn't really need too much else. It sounds like a finished track to me, very ambient. Again, like Adult Swim, New Jabez in a way. If you know New Jabez, kind of like that vibe too. And in general, these drums are just not loud enough. Turn that up too. Yeah, Aphex vibe. That's a really good comparison, actually. Where's that, like... I think it's this one. Yeah, it should be louder, I think. Priority here. And then for this one's just a little bit too... Again, it's got that weird resonance in the top. I think it makes it sound a little cheap, so I would just kind of roll that off like we did with the other one. Ooh, my mouse is acting up. All right, there we go. Yeah. Oh, okay, so that's... Yeah, that's super sick. That's got to come up a lot. That should be precedent here. Main element for sure. That's so cool. Delay is super nice there. The piano's just a little quiet, but yeah, this is really nice, man. I think that's all we'll work on for Frescoes too. I don't really know much else I would change to this. It's a really, really cool vibe. Definitely has that like Adult Swim, like Minecraft feel to it, which all your stuff does, and it's really unique and awesome. I think Fresco is probably one of my favorite submissions whenever I have these streams because it's always so cool and unique and different from everything else. So that's Fresco Baldi Deviations. Really, really cool. Next up, we have Eldon Mean Streets. Everyone give him a round of applause in the chat. All right. Mark Eldon, the legend. He's a student of mine, and he focuses predominantly on like progressive and trance, usually with like kind of like an older perspective, like a vintage prog kind of point of view, and it's really, really cool stuff. Let's go ahead and give this thing a listen. This is Mean Streets by Eldon. Nice. Immediately, I'm going to open that kick up all the way so I can hear the top. All the way from Australia. That's so sick. Nice. Ooh. Big 10. All right, first of all, can we applaud these drums? These are fire. Drums sound amazing. Next up, I think the main thing is that the effect stuff is too loud and it's detracting from the focus. So like the or whatever the heck that is, it's a little too loud and it's distracting. It's not that one. It's not that either. Maybe it's this. Yeah, this thing. I'm gonna group that. I think most of it is actually like in this 100 hertz range. It's very like busy around this part. Just go ahead and roll that off. And what that does is it really slims the sound down. It doesn't feel as heavy in the mix. It doesn't feel as distracting. I think another thing is just turn it down a little bit. It's a little too loud. Maybe 2 or 3 decibels. It's really not adding that much in form of like energy or anything. It's just kind of there. So maybe we can, you know, try to make it feel a little bit more of a background element. We can do is side chain it. I think that will help. little too loud. Okay, that's sounding good. And the other thing is I just want to make this main bass louder and stronger. So that's like our support bass, but our main one is the... Yeah, it's this super acidy sample. So I'm just going to turn this up a bit. Let's say like 2 or 3 decibels. I think that we might be hitting the ceiling of our limiter here too, so we might have a little bit of issue turning this up without turning everything else down. We can also adjust our limiter parameters to make sure that we can turn this up. Because when you're turning things up, you inevitably hit the ceiling. You can't turn things up anymore, and you circumvent that by turning everything else down around it. But this totally has to be the main element because that's like the core. Sub a little bit more, and then more bass too, I think. Pull out some of that like 2K. Maybe 2K and up actually, like leave some space for that main 303 sound. Yeah, so the 303 is kind of fulfilling our need for high end, the distorted bass sound, so we can just kind of gently roll off the top of this support bass. That way we can use this support bass for what it is, like filling out that low mid in the stereo image, because I think he has some voices on this. Yeah. Filling out the low mid in the stereo image, and then, you know, letting the 303 sample kind of fill out the top end. And then on that top bass that we have, I'm going to go ahead and add in a group so we can add an effect to it. And then I'm going to go ahead and reprioritize some of this 303. So I think there's a little bit too much high end. What we need is like that upper mid, like the 1K. Now it feels more beefy because that upper mid is where a lot of that energy is, and up here is just kind of noise in that sample. So let's see how it sounds in the mix now. I might have turned them up a little bit too much. Let's go ahead and grab these and bring them down a little bit more. I think that's sounding really, really good. Super good. Check the limiter here. Yeah, we're pretty slamming on the limiter, so I'm gonna dial this back a bit. I'm actually gonna, you know, bring these down a little bit. I don't think we need that much of a bump in the mids now with those adjustments. Let's leave the sub where it was, so like back to 0. Oops. Yeah. We might even turn up the sub a bit. Actually, it does seem like that 102 was really loud. Maybe we can actually turn that down a little bit. Let's bump up the upper frequencies of that mid though, or that low mid bass, just so that we can compensate for that loss of sub right there. Turn adaptive gain off, and then I'm going to turn the limiter down. Generally, I don't like to do my, master EQ like this until I've mixed the song, but I think that the song sounds pretty good as it stands. And I don't want to, remove too much of what he did here. But I think that's sounding really good. Let me play it from the start and see if I hear anything else. I think we got rid of a lot of the distractions and made this feel a little bit more forward. I don't know if I agree with this here. He has a low pass filter on the kick. I think instead of a low, maybe a high would be better here. This feels kind of weird to have a kick with the sub but no high end. Nice. Because if we reverse that and we had like the high cut or the low cut, when that kick came in at that verse section he has here, it will feel much stronger because it's revealing the low end rather than revealing the high end. Okay, so this one is the one we needed on. I think, yeah. Should just really group the kicks and then do it, but whatever. I'm gonna give it a little bit more high end on this one, so at least it comes through. Yeah. See, that feels better, and then when the kick comes in, it'll feel like a big reveal. Maybe even like the sub too. We can hold the sub until that reveal. Yeah. I personally think keep these going through would be nice. Yeah, we're hitting this limiter way too loud. Just turn everything down a little bit. Yeah, that's sounding really good. I think that's as much as I'll do on this one today. It's sounding really, really good already. With the small mix adjustments we made, I think we've prioritized some of the different elements, and I think we've made this feel much stronger, especially in the drop sections. Less distractions, more focus on the bass. All right, that's Mark Eldon's Mean Streets. Really, really solid one. Let's move that into the folder. What'd I do? There we go. We can do this too. Finished Fresco. All right, we have two more today. Gone Away by Circuit Breaker. Let's go ahead and get this thing open. You guys like 303s? Tortilla Pocket. Let me see. Hold on. Real quick, I just want to see if we have any more. one more. If JC can get me the thing. Yeah, she didn't. Some of these were carried over from last month, actually. Okay. Ooh. Nice. This is Gone Away by Circuit Breaker. They sound sick, man. We're not accepting submissions right now, but we do this every month on the second week of the month. So if you want to submit, you can go over to patreon.com/JulianGray, and I'll see you the second Saturday of February.
Breezy in the atmosphere. Gone away where the light is so cold, reaching.
You know, I think this might have been from last month, and we might have already done this one because it sounds really familiar. One second, guys. Let me figure this out. So I think this is from last time. Yeah, I think this project was from last month, and we might have already worked on it. I think I just got the date wrong on it. So I think we're going to skip this one. I want to say we did this one last time because it sounds very familiar, and I don't want to work on it a second time. Yeah, Gone Away, Circuit Breaker. I think we did this one last time, so I'm going to move on to the last one. Let's see, Tarantism. Actually, there's a way I can check, because I can check what project files were from last month here. Sorry. Really quick. Let me just double check, because I don't want to skip anyone that actually submitted for this month, but I do believe that that was the last month's submission. Fix your project. December 2020. Yeah, that was totally from last month. Cool. Yeah, that one sounds really familiar. So I'm going to skip that, and we'll get on to the next one, which is Tarantism AFK, which we might have done last month too, question mark. I think the only ones we did this month were the Eldon one and the Fresco Baldi. The other ones were the remainders from last time. If this one is from last month, oops, sorry. If this one is from last time, I guess we'll call this a wrap. This does sound familiar. I'm pretty sure we worked on this one too. Yeah, I think this was last month's as well. Okay, well, I think we've gone through all of the submissions for this month, as you can see right here. So next time, I guess, I'll have to confirm that we didn't grab the ones from last month too. My bad. I saw 2020. I'm like, okay, that's this month. I was like, wait. It's 2021. So yeah, we got through all the ones for today. Thank you guys for tuning in again. If you want to submit for next time, which is February 2021, we do this every second Saturday of the month. Next times will be, let me see what day that is. That will be on February 13th of 2021. and that'll be the next stream. If you're interested in submitting next time, go to patreon.com/JulianGray. Make sure to submit your project file, and I'll see you guys then. In the meantime, feel free to ask me. A cat hair in my mouth. Feel free to ask me any questions you have for me regarding any of these project files or any of the ideas we discussed today, and I'll answer them in the chat for a few minutes before we wrap this up. Short episode today because a lot of the submission links didn't work for this month, and then also some of the submissions I guess I confused for last month. So yeah, let me know in the comments. That's so silly. I think we might have actually redone one or two of them too, but yeah. All right, AFK Tarantism. Yep. Unfortunately, because we did have a few other ones for this month, but the links weren't working. So yeah, I guess without further ado, guys, I'll call this stream a wrap, and I'll see you soon. I'm actually gonna put a video out on the channel. Here, I'll do this. Put a video out on the channel very soon, an inside the project look at my new remix on Anjuna Beats. It's Gabriel and Dresden's Will I Change inside the project Julian Gray remix. So keep your eyes peeled for that. I'm going to put that out in the next few days, I think, and I'll see you guys when that comes out. I guess I'll talk to you guys in the next stream. See you guys next month for another Fix Your Project. Anyone who submitted today, go ahead and click on the link in the description after the stream, and you can download your project files. Also, see you guys tomorrow, like Haley mentioned in the chat, on Gradient Sessions. We do these on Twitch. Every week we have a new featured artist from the Gradient Collective community or from outside of it. So a lot of the times bleeding into the Mousetrap and Anjuna communities, just because those are my homies. And if you want to tune into that, it's twitch.tv/Gradient. Gradient Arts, Gradient with an A, or with a Y, I guess. Yeah, so I guess I'll see you guys tomorrow or on the next upload, and I'll talk to you guys then. All right. Goodbye from Julian of Julian Gray Media.